Okay, hello and good morning. Let's take a look at today's bell work. And by the way, that if anyone missed the test on quadratics, I will open it up again, and it will be tonight only. Because I'm going to be doing grades. Okay, so you're going to get a second chance if you did not take the test on quadratics. But again, it's tonight only. Okay, so let's take a look up here. On this right here, it says write three forms of an equation. Well, there's one of them that's called point slope. There's one that's called slope-intercept form. And there's one that's called standard form. Okay, and you need to know all three. Let's take a look here. It says find the slope. Well, the slope is your y's go on top, the second one. So it's going to be a -7 minus a -4. That becomes a plus. Down here, it's going to be 5 minus a -2. That becomes a plus. So the slope here is going to be a -3/7. That's your slope. To write it in point slope, I want you to use the first point. You technically could use either one, but I want you to use the first one. So it's going to be y minus your y equals your slope, and then x minus your x. And that is called point slope. To put it on slope-intercept form, you'd have to distribute. So it's going to be y plus 4 equals -3/7. This is a plus. Put a 1 under here. Negative times positive is a negative. 3 times 2 is 6. 7 times 1 is 7. And then what you want to do is subtract 4/1. Left my x off. All right, so let me move this up. So at this point, your least common denominator is 7, so you want to multiply by 7. That gives you 28. You have the same sign, so you're going to add, and I think that's going to be 34, and you can check it on your calculator. So that's a -34/7, and that is called slope-intercept. To put it in standard form, you'd have to multiply everything by 7 to clear your denominators here. So you're going to get 7y is equal to a -3x minus 34. You're going to move the x over here and you're done. So you get 3x plus 7y is equal to a -34. And that is standard form. So we have standard form, we have slope-intercept form, and we have point slope. And that's what you're going to be doing today again. And here it is right here. Okay, so I want you to write your equations in the slope equation as well. It's on the board by the clock. And then I want you to do the back side as well. Okay, and there we go. Let's turn our attention to geometry. All right, so volume is the easiest. So let's do volume equals big B times h. Well, the big B is the bottom, and that's a circle. So it's pi radius squared times the height. The height is 10. Pi is 3.14, but I'm going to leave it as pi just to make it easier. And the radius is 8, so it's 8 times 8, so that's 64 times 10 is 640 pi. So your answer is 640 pi. If you want to know the real answer, you would multiply 640 times 3.14, and the real answer is 2009.6. So 2009.6, and this is volume, so that would be cubic inches. Third dimension. To do surface area, remember you have the rectangle, you have two circles, so you're going to have pi radius squared, but you got two of them right here, two circles, and then you have the height times circumference. So plus the height, which is 10, and circumference is pi times diameter. So you want to do pi times diameter. I'm going to leave it as pi because it's just easier. So it's going to be 2 times pi times the radius squared. So the radius is 8 times 8 plus 10 times pi, and the diameter here is all the way across. It's 2 arms, so that would be 16. So the diameter is 16. So that would give you 160 pi right here. This one would be 64 times 2, I think, is 128 pi. And then what you're going to do is add that up. So 128 on top of that is going to give you 288 pi. And this is surface area, so it would be square inches. Okay? If you want to know the real answer, you would take 288 times 3.14, and your final answer here, let me move that up, is 904.32 square inches. All right, so we did surface area and volume. And by the way, this one is slanted, so that's called an oblique cylinder. Oblique. Make sure you know that word. And down here, surface area, this is a regular polygon. Now what you could do, if you don't know this formula, you could go ahead and break this up into triangles here. So you could say, I got a bunch of triangles here. I should have 5 of them. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, because it's a pentagon. So I could technically do 1/2 the base, which is 8, times the height, which they call the apothem, is 5. And then you have 5 of these, so you would multiply by 5. So get your calculator. Let's just do it without knowing the formula. So 8 times 5 is 40 times 5. So 40 times 5 equals that, and then divide by 2, and I get 100. So the area would be 100 square inches. Now let me use the formula just to show you that it works. 1/2 A, which is the height, called the apothem, and the height here is 5, and the perimeter would be all the way around. So it'd be 8, 5 of these. So 5 times 8 is 40. Let's see if that works. So 5 times 40 is 200, and then when you divide by 2, you get the same answer. So even if you don't know or remember that formula, you can break it up into triangles. All right, let's talk about today's work. Put away your bell work. And by the way, those of you who missed the Chapter 10 test, I'm going to open up Chapter 10 test tonight only, because I want to get my grades done tomorrow. Okay, so tonight only for those who missed it. Okay, all right. I'm not going to let you retest it because I did that last week. But those of you who missed it will be allowed to take it again. All right, look up here. Let's find volume of these. Now notice that this one is a cone, so I'm going to stand it straight up. So draw a circle and put a dot and connect it. We're doing volume today. Remember that volume is big B times H. Well, if it comes to a point, you have to divide by 3. Write that down. If it comes to a point, so comes to a point, you divide by 3. Make sure you remember that. Okay? So the bottom here is a circle, so that's going to be pi radius squared times the height, which is 7. And then what you're going to do, since it comes to a point, is divide by 3. And that's going to give you your answer. So pi is 3.14. The radius squared, you have 2. And 2 times 2 is 4. And then the height is 7. And then you got to divide by 3. Make sure, if it comes to a point, you divide by 3. So just use your calculator and work it out. This one right here is a triangle. So it's going to be 1/2 the base times the height, okay, of the triangle, times the height of the pyramid, which is 4, okay, and then you got to divide by 3. Last thing you do is divide by 3. Now, just so you know, you could simplify this and just divide by 6. Okay, so try and work that. The answer is here. All right, let's move on. Down here, you're going to do the apothem, area of the bottom. So area of the bottom is 1/2 AP times the height, which is 11, and then you're going to divide by 3. All right, so if you get stuck, I'll help you. Today, your worksheet is right here, and if you can't get it on Canvas, which it should be, and I'm going to send it to you also at home, there it is right there on the video. Have a good morning, and we officially start our new marking period on Monday. Have a good day.